So you think you know how dementia affects the brain? You might need to think again. We're going to talk about that today on The Wrinkle. So a lot of times when I make a diagnosis of dementia or major neurocognitive disorder, people are surprised to hear it. Now, a person who's living with dementia might be surprised to hear that they have dementia, and part of that is because dementia affects more than just memory. Most of us think of dementia, especially Alzheimer's, as being forgetting. Even when other seniors who aren't living with dementia become forgetful or have a moment of forgetting, we call them senior moments. And we think that when people forget things, that's a sign of Alzheimer's. And that's true. Memory change is a part of it. But there are a few myths out there that I want to talk about. When we give a diagnosis of dementia, people will say, well, they can remember things from 30 years ago. They have an excellent memory. It's important to realize that in Alzheimer's especially, the memory changes involve short-term memory. So those are things that have happened within the last few hours, or minutes, or days. So somebody can probably remember very clearly things that happened 20 or 30 years ago, but it could be harder to remember things that happened last week, or even a few minutes ago. So the fact that someone's long-term memory is intact doesn't necessarily mean that it's not consistent with them having a dementia. Another misconception about the brain changes in dementia is that it's just memory. In fact, in some types of dementia, like frontotemporal dementia, for example, or vascular dementia, the memory changes could not be very prominent at all. In fact, someone's memory could be good, but there might be changes in other aspects of cognition, like language, executive function, which is sort of higher order decision making and that. So people might have an intact memory, but if other aspects of cognition are affected, and that's affecting day-to-day function, it's still in keeping with the diagnosis of dementia. A lot of people also think that the memory changes that they see in a senior are a normal part of aging. So I don't know how many times a week I hear someone say, well, I'm whatever age. This is normal, isn't it? And their family members will say that too. You know, that's kind of a myth about aging. So let's go over again. There are some changes with normal aging. This is a change in working memory, which is kind of like short-term memory. It's sort of your front screen on your phone. So how many things can you keep on your desktop at once and sort of keep track of them? That does change as we get older. People might have to develop different systems for keeping track of things. So you might have to shop with a grocery list instead of just remembering things in your head. It might take longer to remember the name of an actor or a person, an acquaintance, but it comes back later. And those are normal. But changes that are severe enough that a person would have difficulty on a memory screening test, those aren't normal. And especially if those memory changes or thinking changes are getting in the way of day-to-day life, then that's in keeping with a diagnosis of dementia. So yes, some change in memory is normal with age, but if a geriatrician tells you that the change that they're seeing is out of the range of normal, then they're probably right. When someone gets a diagnosis of dementia, like Alzheimer's or another type, it's a tough day. It's not an easy diagnosis to get. But it doesn't mean that the person isn't smart. It doesn't mean that the person automatically has to move or can't make decisions for themselves. It also doesn't mean that there's nothing you can do. It's true, most types of dementia, in fact all types, don't have a cure. But there are things that people and families can do, and there are things that medical practitioners can offer that can make living with dementia a little bit easier. I hope this video was helpful to point out that dementia or major neurocognitive disorder doesn't just affect memory, and it may not affect memory in the way that you would expect. Are you getting enough wrinkle? Let me rephrase. Are you getting enough of The Wrinkle. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up, and if you didn't, give it a thumbs down, but please hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell, and that way you'll never miss a video. We do upload twice a week, and we have our Jerry Minute on Twitter and Facebook twice a week as well. All the links are below. I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment, and I'll see you next time on The Wrinkle.